Hey guys, how are you doing? I hope you're doing great. One thing that I wanted to share with you today is that did you know that most of us only uses the front part of our body to breathe? Whereas actually it would be really useful for us and recommended and healthy for us to use both parts as well, using the back part of the body. And if you think about it, if we're only expanding with the frontal part of the body, we're contracting the back part of the body. So it is important for us to relearn how to breathe using the back part of our body as well. And so my invitation is 2 little exercises that will deepen your awareness into your body and how you're breathing, because obviously the first thing we do when we come to earth as well is we breathe, and the last thing we do is we release when we leave the space. So it is part of who we are, what we are, and is ultimately what keeps us alive. So it is important for us to take the time and develop the awareness on how it is that I breathe, because this is supporting your life force. So the first exercise, I would recommend you come down and lay on your lower back. And actually, if you're really interested into these topics, we have developed a course that you can also get on our website, which really gives you so many different techniques and tools to become more aware and practice with different pranayamas, different breathing techniques on how you can expand this awareness and ultimately recorrect how you want to breathe. But if you have the course, you already know a little bit of what we're talking about and why we're doing what we do. But if you don't, lay down. Keep your knees bent and see if you can just lift your shoulder blades and release the space in between the shoulders onto your mat. And feel how you can ground the lower back onto your mat and just release the weight of your spine down. And I'm going to invite you to bring both of your hands onto the lower part of your belly. And first of all, we're just going to take a few breaths through the lower part of the belly, only through the lower part of the belly. Why do I say this? Is because most of us actually are blocked in the upper part of the chest to breathe, and we don't allow the breath to already come all the way down. And we need this in order to also open the back of the body, lower back and so forth. So both hands on the lower belly, breathing in. Imagine that you want to lift your navel to the sky. So it's going to be like a big belly. And we'll do this for 2 times more. So just breathing in through the lower belly. One last time. Bring in both of your hands, this time on your rib cage. So really here. You want to have them here. And the second awareness, you can stay laying down. You don't have to come to a seat, but just bring your hands to your rib cage. And the second part is going to expand sideways. So focusing on the side expansion. And actually the lower part of the rib cage is really opening to the side, whereas the upper part of your rib cage is opening like this. So it's super interesting. In one bone, in one structure, we have 2 different movements that you can use, right? So we can use. And this one I've noticed that is a bit hard at first to become aware. It's a bit hard to practice because depending on how we've been breathing this whole time, it gets either a little bit easier or a little bit harder. But like I said to you, it is a little bit hard. Let's say it just takes a bit of time. All right, so just take your time, because ultimately this time is an investment on yourself. Both hands onto the rib cage, expanding sideways for 3 times more. And I hope you can see it with the white background, how I'm expanding to the side. One last time. Beautiful. And now just allowing one of your hands to come onto the collarbone. And this is the second action that we were talking about with the ribcage. And it's this action that is going up. So if I am laying down, my rib cage is going to come up and towards my face. So same thing. This one is easy. Most of us practice this breath work with the upper part of the chest. So just breathing into the chest, into the hand. And release. 2 more times. One last time. Beautiful. And maybe you're even aware that this space that is given for us to breathe is super shallow compared to the first 2 parts that were able to welcome in much more air and then give us the possibility to breathe deeper and longer. We're going to go through the same exercise, and you can pause here and go again to what we've just done in order to deepen the awareness once again into your body. Ultimately, the more you repeat this, the better we get at it. And obviously, I am still learning a lot at the moment with my breath. So it's beautiful because it's a never ending practice and development of self. But same practice coming into a seat. And now I'm going to ask you to do the same thing, but to your back. So we're going to bring both of the hands to the lower back. And same thing, we're going to imagine that we want to push navel to sky if I were to be laying down. But since I'm sitting, I'm just going to press it forward. And this time, following my hands, I allow my hands to come where I want my awareness to be. So you place your hands where you want to breathe and to closing down the eyes, breathing through the belly and focusing on the back side of your body and how your breath also influences the back side of your body. Two more. Last one. Allowing for the hands to come a little higher. If you don't have the mobility for it, it doesn't really matter. Just close your eyes and bring your awareness there, and then just breathing into the chest, into the side bodies. And see how this expansion also works on how your backs open up. Two more. If you're able to place your hands, you really feel and sense how it is opening. Last one. And to finish, once again, you can use your hands, or you don't have to use your hands. You can just focus your awareness onto the top of your back, the upper part of your spine, and then just breathing in through the chest. And I really feel that my shoulder blades are moving away from one another, and when I'm breathing air, it's creating much more room for me to welcome the air. And I want to be using the back once again in order to stay aligned with frontal and back opening. If you're like me, and a lot of people also suffer from lower back conditions, a lot of us, I would say a majority, kind of arch back naturally, but it's not natural for curve, but we do it because out of habits. And so it is hard to feel how the lower back can expand when we breathe. So if this is something that is happening for you, I would recommend that you get your props. So if you have a bolster, get your bolster. If you have a block, get your bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you can always use a big cushion in order to support your knees, so you have your knees a little higher. And if you don't have a block, you can always use a book or something to support your head. So I'll use this to support my head, and this is going into the second exercise, which is a easy pose. It's an easy resting pose. So we call it yin pose, restorative, because we don't want any muscle engagements, but it's once again to deepen the space around the lower back and to deepen the awareness on how to breathe with the backside of our body. So if I were to just once again place my bolster underneath my knees, making sure that my glutes are grounding down and I can remove the extra flesh if needed. And then I'm just going to allow for my body to fold forward. Okay, and see wherever I get. I don't have to get all the way down into the bolster. This is why I have my block, in order to support my head if I want to. Okay, so being in this position, what happens is that I kind of block the front part of my body to breathe, meaning I am forcing myself to open the backside of my body in order to breathe. So, staying in this position, bringing the awareness onto the lumbar spine and feeling through each of your inhale how little space you can create in between your vertebrae, around your lumbar spine, around your middle back and your upper back. And my recommendation in this pose, in this practice, if you're looking to deepen the awareness on how to breathe a little bit better by using both sides, is to imagine that through each of your breath, inhales, you have your awareness ascending through the spine. And on your exhale, your awareness is descending back into the tailbone. So we start low because we want to start by bringing air into the lower part of the belly. And with the inhale, the awareness ascends. And when I exhale, my awareness descends. And I would recommend you stay in this pose for 5 minutes. That would be a good time to really get the feel after a little bit of time of how it feels when you allow yourself to open the space in your back and how different you can breathe after having done those exercises. So let us know if you tried this out in your body, if it makes sense for you. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you want more of it. I am Ilo from Place Pose Beat, and I'm super happy to have been with you today. Thank you.